What is going on, Vikings family? We are back with another film session, and we had to come in here and talk about Logan Brown. He is a player that I really like coming out of this draft class at the tackle position. Unfortunately, he ended up being undrafted, and I believe what he could potentially bring to the Minnesota Vikings, this might end up being a big time steal. They are set at tackle, but it's always good to bring in more talent. So me and you have to break them down and see what this player is all about. So when you're taking a look at Logan Brown, he was a top high school football player, ranked as a 5-star recruit back in 2019. He wasn't just good at football, he also was a great athlete who won 2 state championships in shot put during high school. In college, he started at Wisconsin but didn't play much and later got kicked off the team for fighting during practice, so they say. He then went to Kansas where things got much better. Playing as right tackle, he did really well and didn't let any defender sack his quarterback all season. Even though he hasn't played many games yet, only about 1,000 plays total, he shows lots of promise. If the Vikings can help him develop his skills, he could become an important part of their offensive line. So on this play here, we can see Brown's footwork and his ability to stonewall the defender, preventing any pocket penetration. He demonstrates his aggressive style and commitment to playing through the whistle. Exactly what you want to see from an incoming rookie, Vikings family. So we'll go ahead and spin it. So locking on this play here, just studying the footwork from Brown, just seeing him latching on at defensive end. The good thing about playing that offensive line, you have to use your eyes. You got to play with good technique, and he is doing just that. Shuffling those feet and building that wall. And you see the defensive end, he tries to rip inside, but Brown has those vice grips and it's hard to get away from, pinning them down and wiping them out of this play. And it's so good to be able to see this from this kind of player. We all know that he does not have a lot of experience, but you can see the aggression from this player, and that's what it's all about when it comes down to the next level. Getting down to the technique things, using your eyes well, striking these defensive ends in their pecs. And not only that, being 6'6", 311 pounds, and you can be able to shuffle your feet like that, that is exactly what coaches want to see. Because you're going to be going up against premier pass rusher, so you got to be a dancing bear out there, having the ability to be able to move well. But seeing him using his athleticism and being aggressive was great to see. One impressive thing about Brown is his mobility. Despite being one of the bigger offensive tackles coming out of this draft class, he can move very well, just like the first clip that I just showed. He can easily run to block defenders at the second level, showing smooth movement and good blocking skills away from the line of scrimmage. What makes him special is how he combines his large size with quickness, making him very effective when blocking downfield, and this is something that I believe that he will bring to the Vikings. So we'll go ahead and split it. So locking on this play here, just watching Brown storming off the ball, just making a beeline straight to that second level. You love for your offensive tackles to be able to get their hands on these linebackers because that's what's going to bring the best out of these running backs. Not every NFL offensive tackle can get to that second level. So these are the things that I like to show you guys because there will be times where they're going to be using these running backs in the perimeter. So these offensive linemen got to go out there and get busy. But second level blocks, combo blocks, where he's peeling off to the other defender is things that this player could be able to do. And the good thing about this player, by watching his film, he is aggressive all 4 quarters. There is no let up when it comes down to this talent. And there's a reason why there were talks of this player being drafted in round 4 or 5. So it's really shocking to see this player being undrafted. So I believe that Minnesota has gotten a big time steal, who in my opinion was the best available undrafted free agent. So that was golden. But seeing him getting down to the second level and completely washing that linebacker from the play is what we want to see out of Brown. Looking at Logan Brown's film, his kick slide move really impresses me. While there's always room for improvement, but what makes him special is how he combines his smooth footwork with his natural strength and aggressive style to complete his blocks. It's important to find offensive linemen who aren't just athletic, but also play hard until the whistle blows. So we'll go ahead and run it. So locking on this play here, just studying the smooth footwork. We love to see the smoothness when it comes down to that offensive tackle position, just kicking out there quickly and latching on. Now, you don't want to be straight like that, nor do you want to be wrapping your arms around this guy. Striking this guy in the interior is where you want to be. It wasn't a holding call on this rep, but seeing him going out there and completely dirting that defensive end. That aggression and finish is what you want to see when it comes down to Logan Brown. Now, you don't want to end up getting penalties or anything like that, but the smooth footwork from this player, Hand placement could be coached, but finishing a play like that was awesome to see. And as far as pass protection, when you're going up against these defensive ends, having a player with almost 35-inch arms is everything. It's all about leverage and having an understanding on how to be able to control these defensive ends, because he's going to be going up against a lot of long arm defensive ends, guys who know how to create leverage as well. But with his body size on top of his athleticism and aggression, I think that this player is going to be ready for the challenge. Here's a quick rep where Logan shows great technique by grabbing hold of the defender and pulling them down to take them completely out the play. Making blocks like this can create space for chunk plays, buying more time for the quarterback to get through his progressions. So let's run it. So zooming in on this play here, just watching the snappiness from Logan Brown, latching onto that defender and pulling him down. And he has done this a plethora of times throughout this season with Kansas. Just like the last clip, you want to make sure that he got his hands inside because you don't want to be prone for holding calls. The quarterback almost got sacked by another player and he ended up throwing a lollipop. But with Logan Brown, if he can be able to take that aggression to the next level and completely wipe guys out to play like this is how you can be able to keep the whole entire playbook open, especially if you're running the ball. It makes things so much easier when it comes down to these quarterbacks. And the good thing about the Minnesota Vikings, even though they are set at the offensive line, they look at a player like Logan Brown, and that's the kind of talent that you cannot pass up. Because this is an athlete that has been through a lot with Wisconsin and coming to Kansas and doing what he did this past year. Sometimes all it takes is that 1 year to be able to turn things around. And with Logan Brown, he capitalized on his opportunities. When going up against a player like Logan Brown, when defenders attempt to shade inside quickly, it presents him with a strategic advantage that he can capitalize on. His strength and technique allows him to engage with these defenders at the perfect moment, delivering powerful contact that knocks them off the line of scrimmage. It's good to see his understanding of blocking angles and his physical dominance at the point of attack. So let's run it. So zooming in on number 47 in Logan Brown, you see that he's lined up directly across from him, and 47 tries to knife inside. But what's so good about Brown, he sees it quickly and blows them away from the play. And if you're one of those defensive linemen and you're half-stepping, you're not coming in there with a game plan against Brown, he will find ways to be able to control you and finish these blocks. And the film never lies. Once he does get to that next level and going up against those defensive tackles, those defensive ends, and these guys are slanting inside, these running backs could potentially see a lot of daylight once we get to the preseason. And the thing about Brown, if he does see what the defenders are trying to do, he has the aggression and the ability to be able to finish. And there are questions about him being a tick too late when it comes down to going up against stunts. And with these defenses in the NFL, there will be wicked stunts. So he's going to have to be on the same page as everybody on that offensive line. But not only performing on the field, he's going to have to do his job off the field, studying, being that sponge, and getting into position. But he has shown this past year that he is fully capable of getting this thing rolling. Not only that play, but here's another play of the defensive end trying to knife inside. Logan Brown gets his hands on him and turns those hips, creating that wall and allowing the running back to knife through and get about 6 or 7 yards. And playing that offensive line, if you have the ability to be able to turn those hips, get your hands on these players, as well as walling off these guys, this is how you take that next step when it comes down to the offensive line. And he's the main reason why Devin Neal had such a good season this past year, being one of the top dogs at that tackle position. So on this final play here, Brown shows good technique when he lunges forward to block the defender. Many NFL tackles struggle with lunging because they can get caught off balance by defenders' quick counter moves. But with Brown, he does it right. He maintains his balance moving forward and places his hands perfectly on the defender. He showed great control on this play. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, just watching him fire off on the ball. It's good to be able to get that proper angle. If you're going to lunge like that, you got to make sure you're not being vulnerable for counter moves. But that just shows his quickness, his long arms, and his ability to be aggressive. This is what allows these running backs to go out there and get busy. And there are a great amount of tackles in the NFL now. These guys get caught lunging and they end up making mistakes. Now, it's not perfect with this player, but the film never lies. He has shown that he can be able to do it on the field, but consistency is key. But great play by Logan Brown, getting his hands on that defender and battling it out in the trenches. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out with Logan Brown. Being an undrafted player where you were marked to go in the 4th round, I'm sure that he has a chip on his shoulder, but he's going to have to lock in and focus. There's a possibility where he could play in multiple spots on that offensive line, so that's always good. It never hurts to strengthen that offensive line because once you get into November and December, you got to make sure that offensive line is right. But this player has a ton of potential, and I can't wait to break this player down again once we get to the preseason. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Logan Brown and who else from the Minnesota Vikings draft do you guys want me to break down just like this video. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, football family, talk to y'all soon. Gone.